A reflective narrative by Zerga Jr. I'm Zerga Jr., sitting in my Tennessee apartment, the night pressing close, heavy like the quilts my grandma used to stitch back when family meant warmth, not wounds. At 50, I'm alone, not just the quiet of an empty room, but a bone deep ache, the kind that comes when the world turns its back. My childhood was a storm, parents who didn't see me, siblings who left scars sharper than knives. I've poured my heart into posts online, raw words for those like me, the ones who suffer in silence, who feel like ghosts in a crowd. If you're out there carrying pain no one sees, hear me. You're not alone, and your heart might mark you as one of the good ones, the ones who still care in a world that's forgotten how. I came to Tennessee chasing a dream, a job to keep me steady, neighbors who'd knock with a grin, saying, "John, you need work? I know a guy at the company." But those days are dust, like pages from a book nobody opens. People rush past, eyes glued to screens, chasing their own wants. This world's drunk on itself, every word, every law, every ad screaming, "Me first." No one stops to help the man drowning in bills or clinging to hope. I've got no family now, no real friends, just the echo of my thoughts and my faith in Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He's my rock when the ground crumbles, my light when the dark closes in. Without him, I'd be lost, no job, no community, just a society worshiping its own reflection. Sometimes I wonder if this world's real. What if it's a trick, a simulation spun by beings we can't fathom, living 1,000 years while we're specks in their story? Our science, so proud of its machines and numbers, trusts eyes and ears that can lie. I've heard tales of old thinkers who said we're like men in a cave, watching shadows on a wall, thinking it's truth. The universe is ancient vast, and we're just kids, here for a blink, yet we act like we've mastered it. If we're in a simulation, our discoveries are just toys in someone else's game. It humbles me, pulls me closer to my faith, to something eternal beyond this fleeting stage. Let me tell you a story about Rome, about Caligula, a man who thought he was a god. Picture him, chariot thundering across a bridge he built over the sea, just to mock the waves, laughing as he forced nobles to grovel. His eyes burned with cruelty, not care, chasing a thrill that left blood in its wake. Nero was worse, strumming his lyre as Rome's flames roared, then blaming Christians, setting them ablaze to light his feasts. They weren't just mad, they chose to be gods, to say might makes right, to do whatever they wanted, no matter the cost. Their names stick with me, a warning. When you kill God in your heart, you lose your soul. Long before Rome, the Assyrians swept the earth like a plague, their siege machines shattering walls, their kings carving boasts of impaled foes into stone. I hear the screams, the clank of iron, the dust choking the air as tribes were torn from their homes. The Babylonians, with their star maps and clay tablets, used knowledge to rule, not to wonder. Their ziggurats loomed like their pride, their laws shielding the rich, while the poor begged. They turned from mercy, chasing power, building thrones on fear. Then came the Nazis, a machine of death that turned science into a butcher's blade. Picture their labs, cold and sterile, scientists in white coats scribbling equations, perfecting gas chambers and ovens, the first assembly line to kill an entire people, Jews, Romani, anyone they called lesser. They worshipped numbers, efficiency, a twisted perfection, but lost their souls in the process. Men like Hegel, with his grand ideas of history bending to the state, and Machiavelli whispering that ends justify means, laid the groundwork for thinkers who twisted their words into Nazi doctrine. Men who believed might made right. Friedrich Nietzsche's cry, "God is dead," wasn't about a literal death, but a warning. If we kill God in our minds, man becomes God, free to do anything, to build death camps, burn books, crush hope, all for a power high. I see the smoke rising from Auschwitz, hear the cries of children, and it chills me to think we're still walking that path, chasing science without heart, ego without mercy. Jesus warned in Matthew 16, verse 26, "What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul?" The Nazis did just that, trading their humanity for a fleeting throne of ash. Picture the Irish, fleeing the potato famine in the 1840s, their fields rotting, their children's cries piercing the wind. They boarded ships reeking of despair, creaking across the ocean to New York, dreaming of bread. But the city spat on them, signs snarling, "No Irish need apply," voices calling them savages, their prayers mocked. I see a mother clutching her boy, whispering, "We'll make it," as the world turned cold. It's not so different from the colonists who landed here, calling Native Americans beasts to justify slaughter. I imagine a native girl, hiding in the sagebrush, watching her village burn, her family falling to men who saw themselves as gods, claiming lands from the east, the deserts of the west. Then there's California, Arizona, New Mexico, once joined with Mexico, a land of shared sun until the 1848 war tore it apart. Native peoples were driven out, their homes stolen, their stories buried under ink and greed. I see it now in Gaza, families fleeing through dust and ruin, their olive trees uprooted, their lives erased for someone else's claim. I hear their sobs, echoing the Huguenots in the 1500s, those French Protestants who wanted only peace. In Paris, during the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, thousands fell, their blood soaking the streets because they wouldn't fight wars or kneel to a king's ego. They were pacifists, cut down for their faith, a testament to a world drunk on power. Jesus said in John 15, verse 13, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." The Huguenots lived that truth, their sacrifice a light in the darkness. It's like a shadow in us, a dream that keeps returning, whispering we can be gods. I've read about Aleister Crowley, standing on a rooftop, voice booming. "Do what thou wilt," telling folks their will is the only law. His words were like firewater, making you feel you could rule the stars, no guilt, no rules. Helena Blavatsky spun a different tale, weaving myths into a secret doctrine, promising truths that set you above the rest. Manly Hall wrote of hidden mysteries. Dion Fortune taught mystic shields. Emanuel Swedenborg saw heavens in visions. Paramahansa Yogananda brought yoga's calm. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar offered peace through breath. Rudolf Steiner and G.I. Gurdjieff promised higher paths. Jiddu Krishnamurti urged you to look within. They weren't all cruel, but their voices could pull you from the eternal, toward a mirror where you see only yourself, drunk on your own power. These voices echo in stories that haunt me. There's a book, 1984, where a man named Winston fights a world where truth is twisted, where Big Brother's cold gaze crushes love. In Brave New World, folks swallow pills to stay happy, their lives a haze of pleasure, blind to meaning. Planet of the Apes shows humans fallen, ruled by apes, a world flipped because we forgot humility. Logan's Run traps people in a city of youth, killing them before wisdom comes, their lives a glittering cage. Old shows like The Twilight Zone tell of men chasing power, a gambler trading his soul to a devil in a suit, a tyrant ruling a world that's just a dream. Even ancient texts like the Book of Enoch speak of angels teaching secrets that led to cities drowned in sin, like Sodom and Gomorrah, where pleasure ruled and love was lost. Revelation 22, verse 15 warns, "Outside are the dogs, those who practice magic arts, the sexually immoral, the murderers, idolaters, and everyone who loves and practices falsehood." That's the path of those who choose power over truth. Today I see it in the world around me, corporations towering like Babylon's ziggurats, their wealth so vast thy senators, presidents, whole governments. The U.S. debt's at $37 trillion, a storm cloud over every home. Yet we feed the beast, buying, consuming, chasing the next shiny thing. It's a new Sodom, a Gomorrah of neon and screens, where pleasure is king and the heart starves. I've got a dream, maybe wild. What if we opened borders from Canada to South America? Let folks work, trade, live free. No walls, no wars over dirt lines. It could heal the debt, make us neighbors, not rivals. But the corporations, modern Neros strumming while we burn, they're too drunk on control, rolling in the mud, as Jesus said, blind to the pearls of truth. My life's been a road of thorns, family who turned away, neighbors who don't see me, a job market that spits out my degrees like they're nothing. I've felt the pull to give up, to hate, to chase my own wants. But I've learned something in this loneliness, a lesson I'd share if we were by a fire under the stars. You don't have to be a Caligula, feasting while others starve. You don't have to be a Nero, blaming the weak to feel strong. You don't have to follow Crowley's voice, promising you're a god when you're just a man. The world's full of lies telling you power and pleasure are all, but they're empty, a high that fades to dust. Picture that Irish mother holding her child on that creaking ship, whispering hope through tears. See the native girl hiding from men who called her savage. Hear the Huguenots praying as swords fell, and the families in Gaza running through rubble. Their pain, their faith, their refusal to hate, they show the way. Jesus spoke of pearls before swine in Matthew 7, verse 6. Folks too caught in the mud to see what's precious. That's the world now, rolling in ego, power, pleasure, but you can choose different. Love the stranger, help the fallen, give without asking back. That's the rebellion against this age, the way to keep your heart clean. The Nazis showed us where it leads: science without soul, mathematics without mercy, a machine that killed millions for a twisted dream. Their philosophers, like Hegel, saw the state as a god, and Machiavelli taught that power excuses all. Nietzsche's words, "God is dead," became their anthem, not because God was gone, because they made themselves gods, free to destroy. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 12 warns. So if you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. That's the lesson they missed, and we're missing it too, chasing the same high, building our own ovens of greed and pride. My faith in Jesus Christ is my light, the only thing holding me when the world turns cold. But whatever your path, there's a rhythm to the universe, a law that holds the stars, a truth that outlasts empires. You don't need crowds or gold to find it. You don't need to be a god, crushing others to feel big. You can be small, quiet, kind, and still shine. To the lonely ones, the ones unseen, I say, your pain is your strength, your heart your guide. Don't let the world seduce you with its lies. Don't be a Caligula, a Nero, a follower of Crowley, chasing a thrill that ends in ruin. Choose the good, the eternal, the love that never fades. That's the lesson I've learned, the one I'll carry to my last breath, and I pray it stays with you, too.